Sean Sewell with Engearment.com. Got a fun video on contrast therapy for you. Contrast therapy is utilizing heat and cold to recover from athletic endeavors as well as physical ailments such as arthritis, inflammation, and other issues you might face in your life. In this video, I will show you my personal routine and the products I personally used to do contrast therapy. I'll give you some ideas on how you can incorporate it in your lifestyle and show you the difference between a sauna blanket, a sauna tent, and then a cold plunge with active circulator and a passive cold plunge. So let's get into it. First off, we'll start with what is contrast therapy. As it sounds, you're going to use contrast, heat, and then the opposing, cold, to produce a positive effect in the body. Some might even say in the mind as well. Heat is going to be really good for inflammation, circulation. It's going to do something called vasodilation, where your blood vessels are going to kind of open up and they're going to circulate more and they're going to try and release the heat from your body. Typical ways we use heat, there's a few different ways. It could be a hot shower, it could be a hot tub, it could be a sauna, like a finished sauna tent we use in our gym, which are these large kind of fishing tent looking structures with a wood burning stove. We use those quite a bit. The case before you is a sauna blanket, which is kind of a newer concept the last few years, and I've reviewed several of them. This happens to be my favorite one. I'll tell you more about that here in a second. But what the sauna blanket will do is, one, it's a lot more portable. You know, it folds up right here, it has a carrying bag about this big, and it plugs into the wall. And as it plugs into the wall, it also has a remote control, so you can dial in the exact temperature that you want every time. So within about 10 minutes of plugging this into the wall, I can have 185 degrees Fahrenheit, which is pretty hot, right here. And how it works is through conduction and radiation. In comparison, a sauna tent, you walk into it, right? Then you're covered around there. That's more convection than anything else. All three methods of heat transfer work. This is just smaller than a tent, as you can tell. It's portable, and it's easy to clean up. How I use it, usually I'll wear a long sleeve shirt and long sleeve sleeping pants to get into it, unless you have something like this, which is going to be basically a towel that fits inside the sauna blanket perfectly, and then that way you can get naked if you want to, and this will keep you from making direct contact with the sauna blanket, which personally I don't mind the heat or the radiation from the blanket. Some people might be more sensitive, and in that case I'd recommend getting this or just putting a blanket of your choice in there with you to avoid having contact and any kind of uncomfortable sensation. But honestly, I don't need it, so I just go in there in my swim trunks usually, and I start off in here at about 165 to 185, depending on your tolerance. Higher is not always better. All you want to do is break a sweat, as my friends would sometimes say, a schwitz. Get your schwitz on, and that is going to help increase your health and help recovery and inflammation, combat inflammation, I should say. And personally, I have arthritis in both knees, both feet. I've shared that many times in different reviews for different products. And saunas, whether it's a sauna blanket or the finished tent style saunas we use, or even a hot tub, they all feel really, really good. There's a lot of science out there. You can find out what the specific time is. I just go for about 20, 25 minutes or until my wife tells me to get up and go do something for her. So that's about what I get, say 20 minutes of this. And then I go to the contrast part, the cold part, which is the cold plunge in this case. And I'll take you outside and show the cold plunge in a second, but an overview. Basically, what the cold plunge is going to do is vasorestriction. It's going to tighten the blood vessels, and it's going to try and keep the heat close to your core and organs. So if we look back a few minutes, the vasodilation with the heat is nice, helps with circulation, and then you get the vasoconstriction from the cold plunge, and it's going to be good for inflammation, again, in a different pathway. And what's interesting about both of these is your body's working pretty hard to maintain homeostasis, whether you're in the heat or in the cold. And during that process of work, you're burning calories. So I don't do contrast therapy to burn calories or melt fat or tone up or anything. I do it for the the physical benefit and the cognitive benefit, hormonal benefit. But some will definitely make the positive argument that you do burn calories, and it is true. I don't know how many calories per individual, but it's probably more than not doing anything at all. That's for sure. Probably more than brisk walk. So that is a sauna blanket. This is the HeatPod 2 is what I use right here from a company called HYDRAGUN. I have a video on it. I did a comparison from the top 4 ones I could find for 2025, and this one seemed to be the best in my personal use. Reason being that remote was accurate and easy to use. The sizing fit me. I'm 6'1", 220 pounds. I fit in here really well. It seals up well. My wife fits in here. We actually have 2 of them, one for her, one for me. So we'll often just put it on and watch a situational comedy show that's 23 minutes long, and that's our session. Boom. And then she'll have a glass of wine and I'll go to the cold plunge, and then I'll do my contrast therapy. The cold plunge, there's a lot of science out there. I go for 3 minutes. You can go for more. I think Rhonda Patrick says 11 minutes per week in the cold and something like 59 minutes in the heat. I don't know how they got to those numbers, but you can experiment to your heart's content and find what feels best for you. Basically, like real basically, you're trying to get uncomfortable. You're trying to get uncomfortable with the heat and tolerate it, and you're trying to get uncomfortable with the cold and tolerate it. Neither one are going to feel good at first. Maybe the heat more than the cold, but you will learn how to adapt. As my Finnish friends say, eat the frog first. Do whatever one you don't want to do that one first, get it out of the way, so the other one can be a reward. All right, let's go check out the cold plunge. All right, so this is our cold plunge. It's from a company called HYDRAGUN, same company as the heat blanket, sauna blanket, and this is what it looks like. It's a 1-person tub, although my wife and I do fit in here. They don't market it as a 2-person, but it'll fit. And as you can see, it circulates the water. Does a really good job. There is the 0.6 horsepower circulator right there. You can hear it working. It's circulating about 20 liters per minute. And it's also filtering the water. You can have a replaceable filter and a passive filter and a UV filter. And that is our cold plunge right there. We have definitely used passive ones where you put bags of ice in there. The only problem is you don't know what temperature it is unless you get a thermometer on it, and then you are taking time using bags of ice. I use actually a large bag of frozen ice repeatedly, but this thing just turns on. It has a remote app, and I can control the temperature to 1 degree Fahrenheit or Celsius, and just jump in there. And then I head back out to the sauna blanket right there, watch a little TV, pop back over here for 3 minutes, and then head back over there to the sauna blanket for another 20 minutes or so, watch some more TV, smell some flowers, hang out with the wife. So as you can see, it's not rocket surgery. You're going into one hot area and then one cold area. And you can mix it up. Like I said, at our gym, we throw events called Fire and Ice. We are definitely Game of Thrones nerds, but basically the fire will be the sauna, the ice will be the cold plunge. And for that, we use our Finnish style sauna tents that seat 6 to 8 people at a time. And we use horse troughs filled with ice, and it works. The situation I've shown you here at our personal house that we use is an investment for sure. It's probably the most portable, being as this folds up, like I showed you. That cold plunge is inflatable, so it folds up the same size. So imagine this. I have my sauna blanket right here. I have my cold plunge, about the same size, compacted up. There's a pump. It inflates in about 10 minutes. I plug the chiller into my 110 AC outlet, give it about 3 hours to get to temperature. Right about that time, I plug this guy into the wall for 10 minutes, and then after a couple hours, about 3 hours, I am ready to go from 185 to 40 degrees Fahrenheit. It's pretty drastic, and repeat that process. So definitely it's the most portable system that I can think of, because I'm not taking down a giant fishing wall tent. I'm not moving a horse trough, not moving a giant plastic cold plunge like you saw on the other side, which is a nice cold plunge, but it's passive and takes ice and stuff to get to right temperature. So this is the most portable. Price-wise, about $600 for the pad here and about $3,000 for the cold plunge with circulator. It's a pretty typical price. You can definitely get cheaper cold plunges on Amazon, but they probably won't have a circulator. Do you need a circulator? Well, you don't. You could use ice and you can get it to the right temperature, but then you have ice to either make and or store, which might be doable in your situation. But if you want the most simple, reliable, easy to use system, this has been the best system I've found so far. I can plug it into the wall. I can plug that into the wall. I don't need ice, not spilling anything. I can utilize it. I have it set up kind of permanently here, but if I were to travel, which I'm traveling in 2 days, I could, by all means, pack this up, put it in the back of my truck, and keep my recovery therapy going, my contrast therapy on the road. If you're a professional athlete, that might be kind of helpful for you. Maybe you're a semi-pro athlete and you want to maintain your physical preparedness at all time. Something to think about. But by no means do you have to get these to do this. Again, you can do, it could be as simple as a really hot shower or a hot bath, and then going into a cold plunge. You could absolutely do that. Probably the easiest way to do it. Just my 2 cents on what I use, how I use it, the temperatures I use, and the protocol. Again, 185 for 20-25 minutes, 3 minutes at 45 to 50 degrees. Repeat 2 or 3 times if possible. Treated me very, very well. Hopefully you found this helpful. If you did, a thumbs up is appreciated. If you want to see more content on health and wellness companies and supplements, I have a lot more coming up this summer, then consider subscribing to our Engearment YouTube channel, link right there. I'm Sean Sewell, the owner and director of Stoke for Engearment. Until next time, take care.